like, down and out about their haircuts.
I'm begging anybody out there, before you go and get surgery, before you walk into these hair club system places, I'm telling you right now, I am $20,000 in the hole, and 10 years of stress, the last 3, an absolutely horrifying existence of stress and pain. And I can promise you, the stress of this hairpiece is 1,000 times more than I would have ever felt if I had just been confident with who I am, dealt with the fact that these are the cards I've been dealt, and deal with them, and just shave my head. And honestly, like Spencer said, not everyone's there, but that's where I'm at.
And now something completely different.
Good afternoon. I'm speaking to you live just outside.
I like to think balding is just God's way of saying, now let's see you get laid.
Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
What I'd really like to do is put the greatness of this man in perspective.
The hair loss community has a lot to be thankful for, having you as a spokesperson.
You mean you just call this guy up?
About life and about reality?
And now, America's #1 reality radio show for men. Live from Los Angeles, it's Spencer Kobren's The Bald Truth.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for hanging on while we were dealing with the usual technical difficulties. For whatever reason, Skype just doesn't want to behave anymore. I don't know what it is. And I attempt to contact my producers, in air quotes, and they don't ever seem to be available for me anymore. So,
in air quotes.
Yeah, so what needs to be done is, if Andrew is listening, Fred, your nemesis, has to be called in. And this entire shit's going to be burnt down and rebuilt from the ground up.
The right way.
Well, it was correct for a while, but, and I just lost my voice again. You hear that?
I just lost your audio.
It's as though he did it purposely. All right, guys. I'm going to switch over to Joe. Joe, you talk. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah. Yeah, audio on the stream is choppy. Okay. I'm good. You guys can hear me okay right now? Spencer, can you hear me? Okay, so people in the chat room, okay, you guys can hear me fine. We've lost Spencer. So this, I hear...
All right, can you hear me now?
There you are, and I can hear you now, yeah.
So now it's working.
Yeah.
Unfucking believable.
People in the chat room, you guys hear? Hear Spencer?
All right, I'm back.
Yeah, okay.
Just crawled on my knees underneath the goddamn console and unplugged and replugged my mic processor. It's like this fucking thing is put together with tape at this point. I'm telling you, I have to just get all new shit, burn this shit down, and have my guy Fred come in. It's getting to that point. But anyway, glad we're able to get on the air. Glad we're able to do the program. Everything sounds good. I mean, I think right now. And if you are new to the broadcast, don't know why we are here. We're the hair loss guys. And I have to say that I tried to explain that last night to a person who I was just happy to have a conversation with, let's put it that way, who was 22 years old, female, yesterday. And it was as though, and I say this repeatedly, I was explaining to her how I split the atom. Joe, you frozen, or are you just, you're frozen again?
I think I can hear now.
All right, here you are.
I hear you.
All right, and I could see you and I could hear you.
Okay, but the stream is frozen. There we go. Wait, it's trying to come back.
All right, I see it back. I see it back.
Okay. Yes.
So nice free shot. Yeah. So listen, guys, bear with us. Call us. Phone number 888-659-3727. Yes, I'm talking to this girl, and it's fascinating. It really is. And young, beautiful chick. We're at this place, and common law, if you're listening, nothing happened. But just having that conversation, trying to explain that we are the bald guys, the hair loss guys. I do a hair loss, now it's an internet stream, but a radio show that I've written books on the subject. I'm the founder of the American Hair Loss Association and the author of the 2 most read volumes on the subject of the prevention and treatment of hair loss in the world. Not as sexy as you think it would sound.
It doesn't translate.
It's not like I'm a novelist or I've written books on I'm writing books on self-help and all. Even though I do, essentially they are self-help books. And then it goes right into the question. Well, I mean, you have hair. Why would you do something like that? And then they start to try to figure it out, and it's just like, oh my God, why do I even say it? You know why I say it? I say it probably because. Hold on for a second.
I don't know why you say it, but
I say it because it's the truth. There are times in life when I would tell people like I'm in construction or some shit like that, just to kind of get them off my back. But I sometimes I also just want to see what the reaction is. But anyway, guys, if you're tuning in for the first time, this is the Friday show. I would call it the Friday free-for-all, but that's already taken. We used to do that with Andrew Zarian, my, in quotes, producer and syndicator of this broadcast.
But it's not being used, so why not take it?
I can't do that.
Yeah.
But that would be a good name for the show.
It'll motivate him, maybe.
Look, the guy has got 2 kids now. Who knows what the hell is happening? There's every time I see him on Facebook, there's like birthday parties and there's face painting and all kinds of crazy kid stuff happening.
I was going to say, and then the stuff that he does with his kid.
Right. And his children. This all happened like in a 2-year period. Like, there was Andrew, the old Andrew. Guy liked to go out and drink, have a good time. We were buddies, and all of a sudden there's Andrew, the father, who is nowhere to be found, and is seen only online with face paint on. But guys, give us a call, 888-659.
Face paint.
Yeah, 888-659-3727, and the UK line is always open for all of you guys who are in Europe who are tuning into the broadcast. And that is, let me see if I can see it, 0203 3724 683. Call us. That is a local line, so there'll be no tolls for, there's really no tolls for local calls anymore, anywhere in the world. So,
pretty much.
Yeah, and if you guys hear, when you call in, if you guys hear a prompt to press 1, that's our busy signal. That's just the way that it is for now. When I get this whole thing revamped, maybe I can get that fixed as well. But somehow with gum and duct tape and everything, we're getting this thing running in HD. And I haven't fixed my camera either. I look like I'm about 5'2".
You really do.
Jesus.
Like you're on a booster seat.
Jesus Christ. All right, I gotta get back up there. All right. Guys, we're going to take your phone calls, 888-659-3727. Sorry for the opening that's all over the place, but this is the Hair Loss Show. We're here to answer your questions, talk about your hair loss concerns. If you happen to have surgery scheduled for tomorrow, for instance, which is a Saturday, but believe it or not, these guys are working on Saturdays.
Yep, they are, exactly.
You may have made the wrong decision. You may have picked the wrong doctor. It's not too late. Don't worry about your deposit. Don't worry about getting on a plane. Don't worry about any of that stuff. If you choose the wrong physician in the wrong group, and if you made a decision and put down a 20% deposit, or whatever the deposit is, that's the best money you've ever spent not having the surgery if you happen to have picked the wrong clinic. So feel free to give us a call. 888-659-3727. Let's take a phone call. Hey, man, you're on the air. Who's this, and where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Morgan from Oregon.
Morgan from Oregon. What's happening,
Hey,
man? How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing well.
I like to hear that.
Checking in with you guys. Yeah, checking in with you guys. I think last time I talked to you, we were talking about vasectomization and that type of thing. And anyway,
being vasectomized.
Yeah. And I was asking you guys if you'd ever heard of anybody, taking Propecia and who had also had a vasectomy. And anyway, I mentioned that, around the incision points where I had the vasectomy, I was getting kind of like these, there's end caps in there, right? And they're stainless steel. So you have a little lump in there no matter what.
Right.
But anyway, I started noticing some, the lumps were getting a little bit bigger, particularly on one side. And so, that was concerning. And, anyway, I went to my urologist and talked to him about it, and I let him know, I'm on Propecia, that type of thing. And, anyway, he didn't seem to think that there was any problem with that. And maybe he just didn't know. There's a good chance of that too.
Well, he probably doesn't know, but I mean, logically, it doesn't seem like there would be a problem with that.
Right.
There would be a correlation.
Right.
But yeah.
Right. But anyway, he was he wasn't very concerned about it at all. Basically, what he told me it was is this thing called a sperm granuloma, which is basically the end caps can leak a little bit. Jesus. And it kind of forms like a little bit of a.
You're really fucking selling this.
A little bit of a hard kind of kind of callous thing around the end cap, and that. But he said it happens. It can happen in up to 40% of vasectomies. But it's nothing to worry about.
Now, is there any pain involved?
Well, interesting story. So, I was doing the Propecia, and let's see, I started in June, and I was doing what Joe had recommended, where I started off like one a week, and I did one a week for 3 weeks, and then I did 2 a week for 3 weeks, and then I did 3 a week for 4 weeks. And by the time I got to the end of the 4th week, I was noticing I was getting pretty bad anxiety. And I'm not a guy that normally has that. And so I started getting kind of concerned that I was getting some side effects from the Propecia.
Sure.
So I noticed the anxiety kind of getting worse the last 2 weeks that I was on it. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take a week off and just see if I feel better.
Now, when you say anxiety, since you're a person who's not used to having anxiety, how would you describe anxiety?
I noticed it was particularly worse in the morning. I would wake up just feeling panicked, and I wouldn't know why.
Welcome to my world, dude. But yeah, go ahead. That was well before I started ProScar.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But it was strange for me. And I wasn't used to that feeling. I was like, well, I wonder if it has anything to do with the Propecia. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a week off and just see if I feel better. And so I've been off for 8 days now. And I have noticed every day that I've been off that the anxiety attacks that I was kind of having have gotten less, and today I haven't had any. Yesterday I think I had one.
So when you were on the lower dosages, so essentially what you need to do if you did well in the lower doses is you need to titrate. You have to figure out what the best dose is for you to avoid side effects.
Right. Yeah, and so that's kind of what I was, I was going to. anyway, you had asked if with the sperm granuloma if I was having any pain, and I wouldn't say I was having any pain. I occasionally I felt like I was getting like a little bit of a pinching feeling,
Right.
and it almost felt like like kind of like you get like a pube pinched or something like that. Kind of felt like that. Like it was just a real dull kind of just more annoying than any sort of a pain.
Right.
And it didn't last for long periods of time or anything like that. But I will say, since I've been off the Propecia, I've noticed less of that. I have had almost none of that pinching feeling. So I don't know if it's related or not. I'm just trying to relay.
Look, honestly, it may be
feeling,
related. I mean, it sounds like you're doing things very systematically and logically, and you're figuring out, okay. So when you're upping your dosage, when you finally got up to the highest dosage, which was what, 1 milligram a day?
No, I was only doing the highest that I got up to was 3 milligrams a week.
All right. Now, when you were on 2 milligrams a week, you weren't having those problems. The anxiety.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Well,
I think it was more when I went up to the 3.
All right. Well, then, so now you know, and that's important, and you can talk to your doctor about that because, believe it or not, whatever people say, I believe that you can still benefit from the 2 milligrams per week, and you talk to your doctor about it. But as long as you're not having any adverse side effects on that dosage, then you found your dosage. And what could also happen is, in time, if you felt that you needed to, you can stay on that dosage. And again, I'm not a physician, but you can stay on that dosage for a year or 6 months, and then even experiment by upping it by 0.5 milligram, and see if you have any issues. But it's the good news is that you had no issues on 2 milligrams, so you know that your body right now can handle that.
I didn't see
Morgan, when you're upping your dosage.
I'm gonna put the camera on you, dude. I gotta fix this.
How often? Like, what was your maximum per week intake?
It was 3 milligrams a week. I would take like Monday, Wednesday, Friday would be what I was doing.
Okay. And did you gradually hit that, or and forgive me, I know you were saying at the beginning.
Yeah, but the way I did it was like this. I did for 3 weeks. I did 1 milligram a week, and then for 3 weeks I did 2 milligrams a week. And then once I hit 3, I was like, well, I'm gonna hold here for a little bit. So I think I was on that for 4 weeks, 3 milligrams a week for 4 weeks. And then the last 2 weeks of that, I just noticed kind of like I said, just like kind of like a panicked feeling when I woke up, and it would last a little while. It lasts an hour or 2 hours. And eventually it would dissipate, but I kept noticing, and it wasn't like, everybody has stress in their life, but it wasn't like anything in particular that I was stressing about. It was just like
It wasn't stress realizing that you have metal in your junk.
No, that doesn't bother me, man.
I'm a person that unfortunately has suffered for much of his life with what's called free-flowing anxiety besides my OCD. So and that's why I asked you what it felt like to you, because I know exactly what it feels like. And when you express that waking up in a panic, that is anxiety for sure. And there's different levels to that. There's some people have social anxiety. I'm lucky that I don't have that.
I don't really have any. Like I said, I don't have a history of any sort of anxiety, which is why it was odd for me, and kind of like I was like, well, let me reassess, what I'm doing here.
I wake up in the morning like a springboard. You know what I mean? It's just like fucking, I got a million things to do. It's a fucking panic all the time.
Right.
So I've always felt sorry for the women that I've been with.
So you just stopped cold turkey for a week after that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was because it was it was scaring me a little bit, and I've read about guys that have had that have at least claimed that they have prolonged problems with anxiety after taking Propecia,
Right.
And I mean, this anxiety stuff, man, it sucks, man. It's it was real, for sure.
No. Yeah, I don't doubt that. But then you stopped for a week, and that was when? How long ago?
So I stopped last Thursday. So today,
Okay.
today is Friday, so it's been 8 days. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you starting back on it today or in the next couple of days?
I hadn't really totally made up my mind yet.
Dude, he's having anxiety about starting it again, dude.
Yeah.
And I understand that.
Yeah. I was just kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do, if I wanted to continue on it or, just say screw it all together, because I mean, if I have to live with that anxiety, man, I can't do it.
Right. No, fair enough. I think that, if you're going to start back, and I'm not a doctor, but this is just based on observational experience.
This entire time I thought you were a doctor, Joe.
Just, starting back the way that you ease yourself into it with
just one a week or something
one
like
dose at the beginning of every week, and then after a few more weeks, then add 2 doses in a week, like say Monday, Thursday, and just there's your 2 milligrams a week. That's a nice division of the time scale. So maybe that'll work out fine for you, and just stay, like Spencer was saying, just stay the course.
Yeah, stay on that until, and it's not like I'm expecting like huge results from that, but, if it slows down the hair loss, then then that's helpful,
Every little thing helps for sure. And there is the option of considering the topical alternative as well, if you want to kind of mix it up, but I would stick with the oral as much as you can moving forward and see how that works out for you.
Sure. Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's a good idea. I think probably I'll do like what you guys said, just get back on to 1 a week, and then we'll see how that goes. And then, I'll do that for 3 or 4 weeks. And then, if I'm feeling okay, go back up to 2. Would probably be a good plan.
And take your time with it, because I mean, even 1 a week is better than nothing. And work your way up to it. Don't rush.
Sure.
You got plenty of time to figure this out. And I mean, obviously you lose more hair if you don't take the medication, but go at your comfort level, because that's the most important thing here is you feeling comfortable with the direction you're going and the measures you're taking to deal with this and to address it. But at the end of the day, if even dealing with the dosages, trying to figure out what to do is too much of a frustration, not so much an anxiety, but just it's like, fuck it, I'm tired of doing this, then you'll be able to check that off your bucket list. Okay, I've tried this, got that out of the way, didn't care for it, and you can move on, right? And that's
right.
That's one of the more important things to consider when you're trying to fight your hair loss, is to try things for yourself, give it a real effort to figure out if something works for you or not. And when you learn one way or the other, you check that off your list and move on to the next thing. And I think you're doing it right. So I'm glad you called in to update us on this, because it's nice to hear these ongoing journeys, and that's exactly what you're going through. You got this journey you're going on, and you're taking us along with it.
When I hear people talk about anxiety, it gives me anxiety. That's the reality. It is a thing. I mean, and I know it's almost tongue in cheek, but when I hear someone talk about them dealing with anxiety for the first time, I'm like, oh man, because when you've dealt with it your entire life, you know what that does to a person, and it's tough. And I could certainly understand why you would be fearful of the medication if there is a direct correlation, which there seems to be.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's real, man. I mean, that's something. It's probably better to be. I mean, if you're able to live. You have the choice to live with anxiety and a full head of hair, or no hair and no anxiety. How would you want to live?
I would shave my head every day, man.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, because I had not experienced that before, and it sucks. It really does.
Yeah. Well, like I always say, that's what the pills are for. But whatever. I mean, you are. I think you're doing it right, and I think that Joe is giving you good advice. He's not a doctor. We don't give medical advice, but your body seems to be able to tolerate 2 milligrams, no problem. 1 milligram actually will be beneficial anyway. So if you're ready, give it a shot and let us know how you do.
Cool. Yeah, I'll most likely do that. And I was thinking about getting back on it, but just for me, I just had to stop for a week and just make sure that I could get this anxiety to go away.
Dude. Totally. And the fact that today is you're saying that you have no anxiety is amazing.
Yeah, no, today I had absolutely none, and yesterday I had just a little bit. And it seems like every day that I was off of it, it got a little bit better, it progressively got better. And like I said, I haven't been on it that month. I mean, hell, I haven't even finished a whole prescription.
What was your
a whole 1 month?
Yeah, I have a question that I didn't ask, and guys, we'll take your phone calls in a second. 888-659-3727. Were you doing anything else while you're on the drug? Were you drinking more, perhaps? Was there anything else that you were putting into your body?
No, I mean, I do drink. I wouldn't say I was drinking any more than what I normally do. I most of the time I don't really drink that much. Usually I save that kind of for the weekend. I work out quite a bit during Monday through. I usually work out 5 to 6 days a week. So if I drink, it's usually Friday or Saturday night.
And when you drink, do you drink to get loaded, like most people, who drink on the weekend? Or
I mean, sometimes, yeah. Not all the time. But I think there was probably a couple of times where I got a reasonable amount of drunk. I mean, I'm a pretty big guy too. I mean, I'm 220 pounds, so
right.
I can drink a 6-pack, no problem.
Yeah.
And not really be wasted off that.
Well, I'm only 180 pounds, and I could do the same thing. Well, I used to be able to do the same thing. Now I'm noticing as I'm getting older, I can't drink as much.
Yeah, you had the old concussion not too long
Absolutely.
ago.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, I can't believe you guys remember that.
No, it was hilarious.
Not for me. Not for me.
I know. Some of that shit sucks, man. I feel you. I've done my fair share of stupid shit.
Yeah.
So.
All right, man. Well, I'm probably not the age of 53 though. How old are you?
I'm 33.
Okay, yeah. So are when you're doing stupid shit at my age? It's really stupid shit.
You don't bounce back like a 33-year-old does.
Right.
Well, listen, man. I'm glad you're feeling better, and if it's not something, here's my advice: if you think you can live your life without hair, then don't even take the medication.
Right.
I mean, you really have to kind of put that into perspective.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's to me, there's no point. I think the true winners in all of this are the guys. People look at me and they're like, "Oh my God, you saved your hair. That's great." Or Joe had this incredible hair transplant. The true winners in this game are the guys that could just say, "Fuck it," and move on. So if you're able to do
live their lives.
Right. If you're able to do that and not put medication in your body, that's always your best bet.
Right. And I mean, I think I'm going through the struggle that all of us that are losing hair are going through. Is that should I try and save it? Should I just say fuck it and shave my head? I mean,
well, I never had that struggle. My mission in life has always been to save every strand possible, and if I can't save it, I will implant it. If I can't implant it, I will glue it. I will do whatever it takes. So. But the fact that you're lucky enough to have that choice, you can actually consider that, you're already winning.
Right. I was going to actually ask. I wanted one more question, and then I'll let you guys go.
Sure.
I was going to ask Joe, because he's had so many hair transplants. I was going to ask him, if you had the chance to go back and do it all over and never get an implant, or get the 6 or 7 hair transplants or whatever it is that you've had, would you go back and change your decision, or would you go with what you currently got?
I've been asked this question. That's a good question. I've been asked it before, and I've got 2 answers because there's actually 2 questions. Knowing now what I know, if I knew then what I know now, no, I wouldn't go through this again. But looking back on this, it's like I'm very happy I went through it because it's I feel it's made me who I am today. It's trials and tribulations, character building, all that good stuff. But I love where my hair is. But if you told me 20 some odd years ago that this was in front of me, this journey, I would have said no, thank you. I'll shave my head and become a dive master in Tahiti. That's
good.
That's exactly
answer.
what I
Now I have a question. What if nothing went wrong, and all of your work was as good as your repair work?
See, that's the question I've not had because only you would ask me that question.
Yes.
No, if I didn't go through those 9 years of hell, I'd probably do it again. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, maybe. That's a tough one. That's a tough one, but not as easy as the first one. Yeah, for sure. There's a high probability I would. Because I love having my hair. I mean, it's great. It's like I'm doing this new concealer comparison, and I cut my hair really short, like shorter than usual. I don't know if you can see the.
You actually kind of have like a Hitler Youth thing happening.
It would look like that, but that's the change in direction of the hair in the donut area. But yeah, I went shorter so I could have more of a canvas to use the concealers on. And even at this length, it's like even with that part, like you can see part of my donor scar, I don't give a shit. I just don't care because it looks fine. And I'm happy with this look, and I wouldn't be able to have this look if I didn't go through the surgeries. So, yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons with it, of course.
All right, man. Listen, I hope things get better for you. I'm glad they are getting better for you. And if you decide to get back on it, again, just do it very slowly. And you know what your threshold is now.
Right.
So, I mean,
absolutely.
That's good to know.
Yep.
All right,
thanks
man.
For sharing, Joe. I appreciate it. Thanks, Spencer.
All right, man. You got it. Take care. Thanks for calling.
Bye.
Phone number is 888-659-3727. Guys, there's a line open if anybody wants to get in. That's 888-659-3727. Let's see who this is. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this, and where are you calling from?
Hey, guys. It's Nico. How's it going?
Nico, what's happening, man?
How you guys doing? Happy Follicle Friday.
Happy Follicle Friday. Joe hasn't done his bit yet, but he will, I'm sure.
Well, I'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and jump in on that. And sorry for interrupting, Dave, but there is no Follicle Friday anymore. This is the second week in a row, and when you go online to look, they're not easily found. You have to go to the ISHRS site.
You fucked them up with the Follicle. We fucked up their whole social media game.
Pretty much, yeah. It's gone. Second week in a row, no Follicle Friday. So
somebody actually made a decision in that bureaucracy. And
amazing, isn't it?
Well, actually, which it is amazing because bureaucracies essentially are set up to, they make decisions on who should make decisions, and then those people don't make decisions. That's the only decision making that usually goes on. But yeah, somebody is just like, listen, these guys are killing us, man, with the Follicle Friday thing. We got to change it. So
maybe they are right. It is kind of ridiculous. Let's take it down.
Yeah. So what's up, Nico?
Let's see if I can try to get my question focused. It's about scar tissue. So, I'm dealing with going in and eventually having a revision done. And I also know Joe had mentioned there's a difference between going for a revision versus a full-on strip. But I guess I'm confused about a few things in the sense that I remember also, Joe, you'd said recently when you were seeing Dr. Wong, he took out 2 of your old, or at least 1 of your old, wide scars, right?
Both. My very first surgery with him in 2002, it was both scars were taken out in the first surgery with him.
And so is that considered a revision within the strip, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Oh yeah. It's like revising 2 strip scars at once and getting 2,400 grafts at the same time. Which you have to think about this. This was in 2002, 16 years ago.
Crazy.
To get 2,400 grafts on a virgin scalp alone was considered to be nearly impossible. Like you're talking ancient days when a mega session was 1,500 grafts.
Great.
So this was the period where, getting 2,000 grafts or more was just starting to happen on a fairly regular basis by a small group of clinics. But I got 2,400 and 2 scars were taken out. That was unheard of. And part of it was due to Dr. Wong's surgical skill and because, as he always called me, I was a mutant. My laxity was unusual. So, but yeah, both were taken out, and it's been 1 scar ever since.
So cool. I guess I'm wondering, I guess a couple of weeks ago I sent an image from online, and you made mention of how occasionally, and I'm not being all BDD or whatever, or propecia anxiety about it, but there was one spot on the image, it wasn't me, it was just from online, and you mentioned that occasionally...
Wait a second, did you just say propecia anxiety? Did I hear anxiety again?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just fucking around.
All right. Good. Because that gives me anxiety just hearing the word anxiety. So please don't do that to me.
Apologies.
Right.
You said occasionally that sometimes with the strip, areata can occur, right? So I'm wondering, how do you figure that out? I know that hair doesn't grow in that spot, right? If you have areata or if it's caused by the surgery. But also when you do have a strip, there's not always hair that goes through, right? So how is that clearly defined?
When you say there's not always hair that goes through, are you talking about a trichophytic closure?
Or no, even just a general strip, like even if it's a double layer or like that. I don't know if that's what I'm trying to say.
Sorry, let's back up just a second.
Yeah, please.
Forgive me, I misunderstood what you're saying. So you're talking about areata as a consequence of a strip surgery?
Yes.
Okay, and refresh my memory. Were we talking about areata with you specifically?
Well, there was an image I sent you from online, and you guys put it on the show, and we were just examining the effects of a tight closure, and then you pointed out a spot that might have been. I mean, you were trying to speculate what could be, and there was a spot that you said maybe could have been areata.
Yeah, that is one of the least likely scenarios for your case. And I don't know if I touched on this before, but sometimes when there's a tight closure, it means there can be a restriction of blood flow to a specific area when there is a tight closure. And when you look at a donor strip removal, you can be classified as having good laxity or tight laxity or above average loose laxity, whatever. But it's not consistent from one end of the strip removal to the next. That's why a good strip surgeon will constantly analyze moving the tissue up and down as the strip is being removed. That's why a strip removal shouldn't take 15 minutes. It should take about 45 minutes if it's done properly.